people, like to do it at their leisure. So it does work out well. So good morning. So we're up to rule number 4 in my book. And I feel like it's a little bit of a negative one. Hopefully you won't think so. So we talked about the first 3 are you'll receive a body, you'll be presented with lessons. There are no mistakes, only lessons. And now 4, a lesson is repeated until learned. So lessons will be repeated to you in various forms until you have learned them. When you have learned them, then you can go on to the next lesson. Which we all know this is so true. The same things keep showing up in our life. You all remember the Bill Murray film, Groundhog's Day, where he wakes up every morning and starts the same day over and over until he learns all the lessons that he needs to get through that one day in a good way. So the same events keep repeating themselves until he finally got what it was he was supposed to do in each one. Does this strike a funny but familiar chord with you? And you will continually attract the same lesson into your life. You will also draw to you teachers to teach you that lesson until you get it right. The only way you can free yourself of difficult patterns and issues you tend to repeat is by shifting your perspective so that you can recognize the patterns and learn the lessons that they offer. You may try to avoid the situations, but they will eventually catch up with you. To face these challenges means you need to accept the fact that something within you keeps drawing you to the same kind of person or issue. Painful though that situation or relationship may be. In the words of Carl Jung, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. And come to consciousness you must if you are ever to stop repeating the same lessons and be able to move on to new ones. So the challenge of Rule 4 is to identify and release the patterns that you are repeating, bless you. It means that you have to change, and change is not always easy. So we'll talk about that some more. I noticed the other day I was running late. I used to do this all the time. I have gotten over that. Good morning. And so this makes me really anxious when I'm running late, and I don't like that anxious feeling. And so I was getting more and more anxious, and I seem to be hitting every single red light imaginable. I mean, really? Yeah. And finally, as I'm pulling up to another stoplight, I know it's going to turn red, and it did. And I just had to laugh because it's like, all right, I'm supposed to learn this lesson over again today. And then after I started laughing about it, all the lights seemed to be green. It was crazy. So even though you think you've moved beyond some lessons, sometimes they show up again. So close your eyes and find your nice tall seat. Just turn inward. Our body teaches us lessons. Usually when I feel that anxious feeling, I need to say, okay, I've learned this lesson before. What can I do? Usually if you just stay calm and laugh, that helps. Whispering hands to heart center. May we all be aware of those things, those lessons, those patterns that keep showing up. Awareness is half the battle. And when we recognize those things, we're much better able to just enjoy all the beauty and the grace that's always around us. Please lower your hands, open your eyes. We're going to start standing up today. So come on up to standing. And I'm going to encourage you to have your blocks and your blankets close to the front of your mat. We might use them. Sorry, are you allergic already, Mary? There's I've been having a lot of drainage, and they said on the news last night that the allergens in the air, what do you call it? Pollen is really high right now. So yeah. Yeah. So just reach forward, interlace your hands with your elbows bent, and just kind of move side to side. Just being mindful. Keep a long spine, warming up a little bit. Encourage your feet and your legs to keep you stable, your spine nice and long. Crack, crack, who's cracking? Good, and then pause and bend your knees, bring your hands on your knees, and just do some cat-cows like this. So cow pose, feel nice and long, and then round to cat. A lot of times a good way to start standing up, not quite as intense. You can really feel the length in your spine. One more time. And then come on up, hook your hands the opposite way and move side to side. Oh, good. I like that. Oh, now I can see you better. Good. And then pause again. I'm going to encourage you to bring hands to heart center and sit back to Utkatasana. And just take a moment there, just kind of feel everything, weight in the heels as well as the balls of the feet. And then keep that nice long spine. Maybe draw your rib cage back a little bit. Keep the curve in your low back and twist to your right. Just hover the left elbow above your right knee. Try to notice if one knee comes in front of the other. And then come back to center. Keep lengthening the spine and go to the other side. One more breath. Come back to center and then stand up. Stretch your arms up. And I encourage you to really feel like you're expanding in all directions. So through the top of your head, down through your feet, on all four sides of your body, or infinite number of sides of your body. You're expanding. Good. And then bring your arms down to the side, and you're just going to use them for balance. So shift your weight to your right foot, and then you're just going to bring the left foot out to the side 8 times. So I want you to feel work in the outer thigh of that leg you're lifting, but also in the standing leg. Notice how you have to stabilize there. I think there's one more for me. Good, and then release and shift 8 times. Just do it on your own. And if you just need to reach out and touch, that's fine too. I want you to notice the standing leg and how that stabilizes you. Good, and then stretch your arms up again. Stand in all directions, and this time fold forward. You can use your blocks there if you want to. And just pause in Uttanasana. And then let's pranam 3 times. So wait for your inhale, extend long. Just go slow with your breath. Just warming everything up. You need to keep a baby bend in your knees, so be it. And then sweep the arms all the way up again, expand in all directions. And then bring hands to heart center and come down to not as deep a squat this time, because we're going to do the same thing we just did, only with bent knees. So shift your weight to your right foot and do it 8 times, or whatever feels good to. Good, and then switch when you're ready. Long spine. Rib cage engaged. Good, come down, stretch up again, and fold forward. Step back to all fours position. And go ahead and do a few cow cats here. Notice the difference. It seems more intense on all fours. So just notice that. You can probably stretch a little deeper because you have the use of your hands and knees to help you. One more time. Cow and cat. Good. Bring your hands forward a little bit and thread the needle. So if you want to, reach the right arm up and thread it under. Come down. Whatever you notice, just breathe into it. And come on up and switch. You hadn't noticed, we're probably going to do a couple twists today. beyond the ones we've already done. And come on up. Bring your hands forward a little bit more and lift on up to downward facing dog. Just take your time setting up. Maybe walk the dog a little bit if you want to. Find all parts of your hand helping you keep your armpits lifted, broadening the clavicles. Good, and then lower your knees. You can bring them wider if you want to and sit back to child's pose. Just keep your hands where they are, where they were in down dog. Because 3 times we're going to do this. Come to all fours. Curl your toes, down dog. Lower your knees. Sit back, child's pose. All fours. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Lower the knees. Child's pose. All fours. Downward facing dog. Lower the knees. Child's pose. Last time, all fours. Downward facing dog. And then this time come forward to plank pose. And again, I want you to think, okay, I'm expanding in all directions. Maybe you're drawing up in the front, expanding the back, broadening to the sides, expanding through the top of the head, long back of neck, expanding through the heels. And then lower your knees if you want to, or lower down to the mat. I ran into my block set, scooch back, and then go ahead and lift to cobra. Just noticing a lengthening happening. One more breath. And lower down. Push back to all fours. Extend your right leg. Stabilize and extend your left arm. So again, just feel an expansion in all ways. It's like you're interacting with the atmosphere. It's pressing on you and you're pressing back. And then maybe lift your arm and your leg a few times. Warm up the glutes, the hamstrings. Good. And then if this is accessible, you can bend your knee, reach back, find the foot, and kick back a little bit. Kind of gets the quad going. Good. And then release it. Extend the leg and the arm again and bring them down. Well done. Nobody fell. Extend the left leg and the right arm. Again, just think, how can I expand in all directions and really feel like I'm being held by the air, but yet using that energy to stay lifted, and then lift and lower a few times, just a little bit. Not like you're moving your core, you're just warming up the glutes, the hamstrings, maybe the shoulder muscles. Good. And then if you want to, bend the knee. If the foot's accessible, find it. Kick back. And then release it. Extend them. And bring them down. Good. Bring your hands forward. Press back, downward facing dog. And then go ahead and lower your knees and grab your blocks and bring them under your hands. We're just gonna do this. If you don't want the blocks, that's fine too. But we're gonna step our foot forward so it's a little easier if you're higher. So come up to down dog on the block. It feels different. Might have to bend your knees a little bit. And then extend the right leg. And then bring knee to nose and step it through to deep lunge. Keep your left hand on the block. Stretch your right hand forward and open up to a little twist. That back leg really engaged. Good. Touch down. Find some strength in your legs. Lift up to crescent. If you need to, you can bring hands on thigh. Everything stays square. Back leg anchors you. Crescent warrior. Good. Ground the back foot down. Come to warrior two. Sorry, I have my back to you. And then just see what you can glean from this pose. My knee tracking straight. Can I keep the curve but lengthen my spine? Fan in all directions. Good. Straighten the front leg. Your block is there. You can use your shin. Come to triangle pose. Trikonasana. Full breath, feeling that left foot as your anchor. Stretch the left arm by your ear. Reach it forward. Look at the ground. Bend your front knee. Come back to deep lunge. And then step back, down dog on the block. Then the left leg, knee to nose, and step it through. Deep lunge. Good. Right hand stays on the block. Left arm stretches. Feel like you're expanding in all directions. Open up to the twist. Keeping the hips square, left hip crease draws back, but left shoulder back. Good, reach forward to touch the block. Make sure you have everything lined up. Come up, crescent warrior. Fanning in all directions. Into the knee, to the back heel. Good, ground the back foot down. Warrior two. Nice. I can see you guys this time. Straightening the front leg. Triangle pose. Feel like the back leg is really going to anchor you as you move into it. First one, it's nice to have the block of the ankle. Good, bend the front knee, look at the ground, touch the block, turn the back heel up, and this time step forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, pranam. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up, expand in all directions. And exhale, hands to heart center. The lessons are repeated until learned. You guys did really well, but let's do it one more time. So inhale, stretch up. And exhale, fold. Pranam. And fold. Step the right foot back first this time though. Right hand stays on the block, left hand sweeps, little twist. Things are getting a little warmed up, a little easier, hopefully. Touch down, take your time, crescent warrior. Feel that back leg anchoring you. Round the back foot down, warrior two. What are your tendencies in the different poses? And are they good? Does it feel good? Maybe you can learn if something, your body talks to you, it's usually trying to tell you something. Straighten the front leg, triangle. You can get a little bit lighter with your left hand. You'll know if you're using all the core muscles, the leg muscles. Good. Bend the knee. Touch the right hand down, turn the right heel up, step back, downward facing dog. Then the right leg, knee to nose to step it through. Feel that deep lunge. Everything's connected, everything's working how you want it. Left hand stays down, right arm sweep, expanding into all directions. You have the muscle energy first. It feels good to expand. Good. Touch the right hand down. Find your strength. Come up crescent. You can use your front thigh if you need to. Everything stays square. Warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Trikonasana. Your back leg still the anchor. Can you feel all parts of the feet connected? The arch lifted. Good. Bend the front knee. Left hand touches down. Left heel lifts. Step back, down dog. And just lower your knees for a moment so you can move the blocks out of the way. Because we're going to do a vinyasa. So down dog. Take your time. Plank. Expanding in all directions, especially back body. Lower down. Keep that connection. Lift to cobra when you're ready. And lower down. You can lift to plank if you want. And then down dog. And then step your feet forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, pranam. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Hands to heart center. So we're going to do a little more balancing. And if you aren't feeling particularly balanced today, feel free to go by the wall. It's okay. So stand on your right foot. Just bring your arms out to the side. Find something to focus on. Bring your knee forward. Think of expanding in all directions, especially up and down helps you. But your core is all connected. Remember all that work you did with the standing leg. Think of that. Keep the curve. Good. Release. And switch. One more breath. And release. And then we're going to repeat that. So lift the first side. And when you feel stable, slowly bring the knee back, the foot back. See if you can find the foot with your hand and stretch up, standing, lengthening, expanding in all directions. Release the foot. Try not to let it touch down. Bring the knee forward again. And release. Good job. Switch sides. Lift the foot, the knee. Feel really stable before you start to move. I always have to check, do I have the curve? Do I have the rib cage back? And then move it back. If the foot's available. If it's not, no big deal. And then expand in all directions. One more breath. And release. Try to bring it forward. Stop touching down. It's okay if you do. Nobody will know. And release it. Good job. Now we're all balanced. Come to the front of your mat and have your blanket actually step back a little bit. This will be fun, I promise. Now, if your knees bother you, don't go to deep squat. Just stay in regular squat. But we're going to lift to our tippy toes. So inhale, lift the tippy toes, extend your arms. Bend in all directions. If you need to dance a little bit, do. And then keeping your heels lifted, bend your knees and either come to squat with heels lifted or all the way down to deep squat. Good. Bring your hands down, widen your knees a little bit. Hands, the blanket's in front of you, hands down. We're going to Bakasana. So the heels are still lifted, but I lift my butt up. I hug my arms with my knees. And then I see, oh, maybe I can shift my weight to my hands and lift one foot or maybe both feet. Bakasana. Just play with it. Really expand your back and draw up with your belly. It helps. Good. And then touch down and go ahead and come to a forward fold. If you want to use blocks, you can bring them back beside you. Step your left foot back, deep lunge. Lower the back knee. Stretch up Anjane Asana. Hug heel to knee. Knee to heel. Lengthening, expanding in all directions. Hips stay square. Good. Bring hands to heart center. Keep a long spine. Might have to back off a little. I even think, oh, if I round my shoulders a little bit, it's easier as I twist. Bring the elbow to the knee. Twisted Anjane. Monkey lunge. Good. Unwind. You can either bring hands to the knee Or see if you're strong enough, lift the crescent warrior. Stretch up, crescent. Keep the hips square. Everything's really grounded. Back legs, your anchor, hands to heart center, twisted here. If you need to lower the back knee, please do. That's it. Good. Come back up, hands to heart center, ground the back foot down. Warrior two. Whew. Straighten the front leg. Triangle pose. Bend the front knee. Touch the block. Step back, down dog. Should turn the air down, huh? Extend the left leg. Knee to nose, step it through. Lower the back knee. Stretch up Anjane. Hip, left hip crease back, right hip stays square. Just notice those side muscles in your hips that you worked when you were stabilizing. Hands to heart center. Really expand all directions, twist. Unwind. Lift the back knee. Stretch up, crescent. Hips stay square. If you need the lower back knee for the twist, it's okay. Hands to heart center. Back foot is anchor. You twist. Long spine. Low belly up. Come back to center. Transition. Warrior two. Woohoo! Right in the front leg. Triangle. Every time you repeat a pose, let's see, did I learn something? Can I do something to make it feel better, more stable? You bend the front knee, touch down, step back, down dog, and take a child's pose this time. Just a relaxing child's pose. And then please make your way back to downward facing dog on the blocks. And step your feet up to your hands, forward fold. Pranam with your breath. And then sweep and rise all the way up. Hands to heart center. Okay, you have to move your blocks out of the way. So we're gonna do that Bakasana thing again. It's kind of fun to play with it, even if you don't get one toe off the ground. All that effort does something. It's like, oh, I can feel it. Good. So inhale, lift your arms, lift your heels. Bend either a Utkatasana position or deep squat. Hands come down, butt lift, hug in with your knees. Your blanket's there in case you do a face plant. Shift your weight. And see about what happens. You can, if you do have your feet up, hug your heels towards your bottom. Straighten your arms. Good. And then touch down, forward fold. We're getting tired too, so it's okay. So step your right foot back, deep lunge. I hate to tell you, but we're repeating today. So lower the back knee. Stretch up, Anjane. Hands to heart center, twist. See if you can maybe get a little bit deeper this time. I don't know if you can see me, but if you want to, you can expand your arms, expand into space. Yeah, good. Unwind. Pause, lift the back knee, crescent warrior. Threads up. Back leg's your anchor. Hands to heart center. Left hip crease stays back. Twist. Bend if you want. You don't have to. Good. Come back to center. Ground the back foot down. Warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Triangle. And this is optional. Right hand to the hip. Bend the front knee and either have to push your blanket out of the way. Slide the back foot forward. Bring your left hand forward and you can lift to Ardha Chandrasana. Just play. You don't have to do that. Hand in all directions. Through the heels, through the top of the head. Good. Hand back to the hip. Lower the foot. Triangle. Bend the knee. Touch down, turn the heel up. Downward facing dog. And the right leg, knee to nose, touch it down. Lower the back knee. Anjaneyasana. You know what's coming when you repeat. And that's why sometimes you can laugh. If you find yourself repeating in life lessons, if you laugh, it always makes it feel better. Twist. Expand if that's what you want. Not necessary. Come back to center. Gather yourself, lift the back knee. Crescent. Stretch up. Hands to heart centered. Go to the twist. Back leg's your anchor. And if you want. Hardest transition, come back to center. Warrior two. Last time, you can do it. Straighten the front leg. They're going, thank you for telling us it was the last time. Triangle pose. Keep the curve, keep the rib cage back. Left hand to the hip. Bend the knee, slide the back foot forward. If you're going to Ardha, find a spot for your hand that's supportive, but yet the weight's still in your foot as you lift and expand into Ardha Chandrasana. Bending the front knee, slide that foot back. It might take a few steps. Triangle pose, just briefly. And then bend the front knee, deep lunge. Move the blocks out of the way and step back to down dog. And I'm going to give you a choice. You can do vinyasa with me, or you can go to child's pose. So plank, lower, cobra, lower, and then push back to all fours. Those in child's pose, come to all fours. Make sure your knees are at least hip distance. Your feet stem or go straight back from the knees. The toes are pointed straight back. You might need a block here. We're going to Virasana. So either sit on a block between your heels, or if you're more flexible, you can sit between your heels, ground your hips down. Yeah. And then just bring your hands behind you. It's a really deep stretch. Yeah. There you go. This is always interesting. If I push my toes down, just notice this. If I push my toes down, it feels better. I try not to scoop my tailbone under, but I keep that long spine. And if you're not on a block, you might be able to go your elbows. Just feel yourself adjust. I still don't scoop my tailbone, but maybe I adjust a little bit. If you want to go all the way back, you can. Keep your heart lifted. Keep the long spine, expand in all directions. I want to scoop my tailbone here. If I don't, it feels way better. It's more intense on the quads, but I think toes press down. And then just how you came up or came down, go back up. And come to all fours. And when you feel ready, you can curl your toes and lift to a brief downward facing dog. Lift your arches, feel the feet, feel the ankles, feel the legs. Good, and then come down to your knees. And however you can, transition to your back with the knees bent, feet flat. And just take a moment to feel that position. Feels pretty nice, I think. I would think, yeah. So with your feet under your knees, arms by your hips, just think of expanding. So feel the lower back or the sit bones kind of trying to ground down. So you feel that curve in your low back, and then but keep your rib cage engaged. Lengthen through the top of the head. Press into your feet, lift up to Setu Bandha. And again, just think of expanding in all directions. I like to think of my knees expanding away from me and expanding through the top of my head. Hopefully it feels like a really nice stretch. One more breath. And on your exhale, lower down. Now you're warm enough if you want to go to full on Urdhva Dhanurasana or bow pose, you can. Or do Setu Bandha again and just play with it. Hold for a little bit. Now that you know kind of where you're going, what your body is asking you to do today. But do set up your spine just like you did before you lift. And then lower back down, everybody. Hug your knees in towards your chest and just kind of roll side to side. Calming, lengthening the back in a more rounded position. And then just hold on to your right knee and set your left foot down. And then maybe extend it to the ground. You'll feel the curve coming back into your low back. I want your left thigh to be grounded. And then a little pressure down into the hip socket. And then go ahead and interlace behind the right thigh. Press your thigh into your hands so your arms are full length. And maybe stretch the right leg straight. Or almost straight, whatever works for your body. And then flex and point or make a circle. That Virasana or hero pose really intense on ankles if you have tight ankles. So work it out. Okay, now bend the knee again. Listen carefully. Bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee. Hook your toes, your right toes under your left knee. Bring your right arm out to the side. And then roll to your left hip for a little twist. You'll feel it right in that spot, Connie, that you've been talking about. Keep a curve. Keep a length. Couple breaths. And then come back to center. Your right foot just steps down. Hug the left knee in. And then extend the right leg long. See if you can get it, the right thigh all the way grounded down. A little pressure into the hip socket. Feel the nice long spine. I always think when I'm drawing my low belly up and drawing my rib cage back, but keeping the curve feels really therapeutic. Interlace behind the thigh. Press so your arms are straight. Straighten the leg. Point and flex a few times. And then bending the knee, right hand to the outside of the left knee. Hook the left toes under the right knee. Left arm out to the side. And then engage the twist. Excuse me. spot again right there. Gotta stretch that back out. And then please unwind. And making sure your spine's in a straight line, stretch out for Shavasana. Palms up. We all need to learn the lesson of relaxing fully. So with every exhale, just release a little deeper into the floor. No more muscle energy needed. Just relax. Allow your jaw to release. Relax your shoulders. Relax your glutes. The challenge of Rule 4 is to identify and release the patterns that you are repeating. I'm going to give you Dr. Sherry's steps that help you execute any change in your life. So first of all, you have to be aware and conscious of the pattern or issue, which is half the battle. If you're aware of it, you know that you don't want to repeat that anymore. And then you have to acknowledge that you need to release that pattern, which is a huge step. Maybe that isn't the best thing for me. Maybe I need to change. So then you have to choose. You have to make a choice. You choose to actively release that pattern. And then if you've made that choice, you have to come up with a strategy or a realistic plan for letting it go. And the commitment to let it go means you need to be aided by maybe some external accountability. Maybe you tell someone that this is what you're trying to do. Ask them to help you identify when you're repeating. And then finally, you have to come up with some kind of a reward system for when you notice that, oh, I made the choice not to go back to that. And celebrate that. It's always a really good feeling. But it's also necessary to be very patient with yourself. And it's also good to kind of laugh at yourself as well. Like when I realized that I was getting all uptight about running late in the red light, I was able to laugh about it. It felt really good. It's like, oh, this is a game. Life is a game, right? That's the title of the book. Life is a game. All these challenges are put in your way to help you to grow. Please begin to stretch, wake all. And allowing yourself plenty of time. And draw the knees in, roll to the side and sit on up. Take your time and notice along the way. I think when you repeat yoga poses like that actually the repetition of it identifies other things that you're doing that maybe you shouldn't do in that pose. Or maybe it identifies things that are good in that pose. And life is always like that. If you look at it as just a game, oh, there it is again. Just bring hands to heart center. Give yourself a lot of credit for what you were able to do this morning. And I bow to the beauty and the light in each of you. Thanks for practicing. Namaste. Thanks, guys. Have a fabulous weekend and go clones. Oh, it's okay. It's okay because even though Mike went to Iowa for medical school, he's from Western Iowa, and they're all Clones fans over there, so he doesn't really care. And I like Iowa unless they play Iowa State. So thank you guys for being there.
Thanks, Lisa.
All right. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.